Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear on that toxic cell. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic cell. When the bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the gates where we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic cell. When the bell of our ancestors where it's felt.
My boyka. What up? Bienvenido. Welcome everybody. We're here. Sí. Tua. Bienvenido. Welcome. What hub? Rahu back. Greetings. This is entitled Musicology, man. The study of music, science. This is Science Tuesday. And this is an introduction. I'm not gonna go so deep. Let me see if I can hear this. Okay, I got my keyboard here. Okay, got my keyboard working. So music, the difference between tone and key. You see, because a lot of times, and I'm addressing, just sharing some knowledge on my Sabi and Muspatia and my sisters and brothers out there that want to talk about tones and chanting, and you gotta chant in the right tone or the right key. But here's the thing: tone and key are two different things now. Two different things, because when you say the tone of A, then you're saying, yeah, the tone of A, right? That's the tone of A. But now when you say the key of A, now you're talking about a scale. You know what I'm saying? And the scale on A, see, it'll be different. You don't go, no, it's because that's going to be a major key and the key of A, not the tone, which is just simply tone of A. See, I like to chant a lot of times in F sharp. Why do I choose F sharp? Because again, when the studies we did, how each one of these tones superimposes your energy center, right? We've spoken that before. Here we got the ah, which is the letter in the Harafat, right? It's a circular letter, Harafat, and it's the throat. So on Thursday we do that. We take those tones and we go, ah, my, oh, oh, all these different tones. Those are tones, not key. Because if I was to chant in the key of F sharp, then I would get, see? See? In the major. Those are scales. That's the major scale. Those are the key of F sharp, not the tone, because when you say tone, it'll be just simply, right? So we had to be careful. This is just taking it to another level. You know what I'm saying? So when you chant, if you say you chant in F sharp in the key, or let's say you chant in A, the tone, or you use the tone of A, but in the key of A, it's going to give you a whole different tonality. Different tonality. Now you got different scales. You got the major scale, right? The key, the major key. You got the minor key. You got the Macedonian key, the Dorian key. You got many different scales. Okay, so that's why I suggest that we learn these musical terms and we learn the differences of what it is, the difference between a key and a tone. In the key, you have many tones, tonality, many tones within that key. But the tone is just one tone, monotone, right? Polytone will be many different tones that harmonious, harmony that'll play at the same time. So I can go, right? Those are harmony. And you pick your harmonic tones from the key. That's polytone. Different tones in the key, in the scale, in that key, you pick out those tones to create your triad, right? 3 tones in one, right? Or your seventh chord, which is four tone. This is the seventh. See, that's like a love. That's a major 7. See, if I want to minor that, I go. That's a minor C, minor harmony. Okay, minor different polytones. You know what I'm saying? Minor diminish. See, or augmented. Augmented. So we study this as harmony. So again, when it helps when it comes to chanting, you know what I'm saying? Um, that's just to give you an idea, an introduction of the of the study that we can do when it comes to chanting in language. You know what I'm saying? In the Arabic, when they do the Tawheed or Tawheed, when they do that, they use those different scales. You know what I'm saying? There's a see, that's a Mediterranean type of scale, Macedonian scale. So you have different textures by using these tones and by learning the scales. So if you're chanting in the key of, if you're chanting in the key of A, you can start off with the tone of A. Oh. Anuki, Jawe, Pasho, Asho. But you know what I'm saying? I'll demonstrate that later on how those tones because um what I've done is I've taken those tones and applied them to the harafat. You know what I'm saying? So you can switch those tones by switching the key. So if I was to do it all in the F sharp, it will be different. You know what I'm saying? So the F sharp in the key, F sharp is the fourth step in the key of C, natural C. So I got C. See, those are linked up to those energy centers. So if I start and I and see in the F sharp, in the F sharp. So you learn this, you get into it, and you know, as you get further and further in these studies, then you see how it's gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be different. You know, all throughout the world, different cultures uses their system, their scales. Chinese have scales, Mediterranean, there's scales in Africa, there's certain type of scales. Here in America, we have also different type of scales, you know, especially when you go into the South. In the South, guitar players in the South tune their guitar differently than the North, and they give it a different tonality. I love the oud. The oud is an instrument that is attached to your solar plexus. It's willpower. The oud by Hamza Dean, the way he played it, and the oud is the tonality. It's where we should be tuning ourselves to that instrument and that tonality, because that's from the Nile Valley. See, Hamza Dean was raised in the Nile Valley. That's the uncle of Panaba Yananin, and he was raised in the Nile Valley. And he nurtured the musical knowledge of Panaba Yananin. He nurtured that musical knowledge, you know, Hamza Dean, and excellent even percussion. I'm a percussionist. That means that's what I do, percussion, right? In the science of percussion, you also have tones, tonality. And you can, if you're using more than one drum, they can be tuned to a specific key. Usually is the key of D, or usually is the key of C, natural tone, C, earth tone, right? When you do that, you know, you give each one of those sounds, those drums, a specific tone from that scale. You know what I'm saying? And then beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's just working on it. Acknowledge Hansu, Rahubat, Hansu, and anybody watching, um, peace and blessings to you. All in blessings to you. So that's me. That's music. That's the difference between a key and a tone. So if Hanabat Yananan says, we chant in this particular tone, so you take that tone, but then you have to apply the scale to it and the key. So if my tonic is the key of A, and I'm doing and I'm chanting in a major tone or minor tone, right? Using the A, right, which is the here, right? And then I chant in the key of A, will be major. See, that will be major. Oh, I did that wrong. No, okay, that's a different tone. So you got different scales. I can I don't want to touch it right now, but those are the different scales. And so you chanting in the key of A, and you're giving it. Sometimes we do that naturally. You know, sometimes you have a natural tone to your voice, and you can also um, fix your instrument according to that natural tone. Yes. And then when you chant, you know, you recognize, whoa, this is the tone. This is my natural tone. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. It's just sometimes, you know, to get an actual more beneficial tone, your diet has to be right, and your mental has to be right. Because remember, sounds are carriers of consciousness, awareness, sound. By different sounds, you can open up some type of awareness. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we're working on it. Pat Nabayanan had instructed me on certain things when it comes to tonality. We had conversation under the fruit stand about tonality, and I don't know. I think the time is right for me to stop sharing a lot of this information out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping it'll get to him, and he'll be like, finally. You know what I'm saying? Finally, you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because he mentioned to me, just to give you a little backdrop, we're at the fruit stand, and he came to me and he says, the Mahdi opened the book of unshakable faith, unshakable truth. He opened them. So he came and bought the Ratib, right? Then he came out and says, I opened the book of Alam, knowledge. We had the book of knowledge. It's a huge book. I had brothers copy some of the things in the book of knowledge, and I was able to read it. Man, dude, it blew my mind. So there's a book of knowledge, book of Alam, which he said he came to open up. And he says, in 100 years from now, the next one might open up the book of tones, the book of getting our tones. You know what I'm saying? Because now we had a Mahdi give us our willpower, our force. You know what I'm saying? And then after the 100 years, now we got the knowledge, the impeccable knowledge. Now the tone. They're using tones now in computer. Tones are all around it. I'm telling you, they're carriers, tones and sounds, sawut, are carriers of consciousness. And that's the next wave. You know what I'm saying? And there are computers that are working off of that. They're doing a lot of experiments that in kinesiology, in medicine, in many different things, in healing. People are healing themselves with the bow, and they use the bow, and they're healing, the tonality. So our lahaj, la lahaj also carry a tonality. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening. That's the development, I would say, of a civilization. Because with this civilization, look at the tones that came out of this civilization. You know what I'm saying? The tone, the Latin tone, the Moorish, right? The Moorish Latin tones, those tones, the Latin tones, right, came out of these tones of Africa from the Moors. You know what I'm saying? From the Moors, these tones. You know what I'm saying? And now we go on, and then you have the Moorish Latin, Paleo Hebrew. The Hebrew has a different tone, Aramaic, a different tone, Arabic, Fusa, Arabic, a different tone. So we went from a Babylonian, Sumerian tones, right? Greco-Roman tones, right? Latin mixed with Greco. We went into the Babylonian tones, right? We went into the Greek tones, into the Roman Latin tones, into the English tone, the Anglo-Saxon tones, which was based on a lot of grunt, gut, and grunt. But we gave them the letters to represent their grunt for their communication. Moors did that. Amuroi, we did that. We gave them that. Okay. And then it developed into Moorish Latin, and you got the Spanish, and you got the English, then German, the German Visigoth. All of that stem. There's a good book that Pana Yanan wrote, and it's all about all the different languages and stuff like that. So then we went back into the Nuwapic language from the Napata, okay, because we were Kushite, and Kushite. Nimrod was a Kushite, and he went into Sumeria. The Magari went in there, and in Hindu, the Kush people had a different tone. You know what I'm saying? So all these tones are being now, we're renewing these tones with Misbatia, Lahaj. You know what I'm saying? Those tones. So it's a process. We'll get there, because as long as we study, and we study about tones and scales, we study about learning the difference. We're applying mathematics also. Tones have mathematics. When I have two A's, I go pa. You see, music is mathematics. You have a whole note. When you break that whole note in half, you got two half notes. So a whole note has four beats to it. Ah, right? Right? If I half that, I'll go uh, uh, uh. If I quarter that, quarter notes, I go uh, 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 right? If I eighth that, I go uh, 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 If I 16 that, if I break into fractal that into 16 notes, I get and on and on to 32 those. You know what I'm saying? It's mathematics. That's why it's so important to learn an instrument and learn music because it deals a lot with mathematics. It's where they get fractions from. You get the whole note, half note. So in our language, we have this system. So if you see pa, so it's given a half pa. You don't say pa, 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 right? So it's shook, shook. You know what I'm saying? Or shook. You know what I'm saying? It's when we learn to do that and we learn to deal with it in a musical way or in a tonality way and having that, then as that time goes on, our children pick that up and they the one that's going to speak it more pure. They're the one that's going to take it to the next level. You know, and then they were speaking to you in Miss Shout out to all the brothers and sisters, the sisters and brothers out there doing the good work with the language. I sometimes frequently visit it and I learn a lot. I learn a lot. Shout out to Aminuma, great job. You know what I'm saying? You know, and Saeed, Sia, right? That's the other sister there, beautiful, and a lot of brother, coffee, a lot of sisters and brothers out there doing the work. You can go to Telegram. I think they have a clubhouse. I don't have clubhouse. I haven't done that yet. But you go on there and they're instructing in the language more and more and more. But this is another level. You know what I'm saying? This is another level. Okay. Because again, Miss 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 Batia Lahaj is the like the new Arabic. It's the Arabic. It what birth Arabic Fusa. It's the beginning. Kushite, Sabah, Sudanese, Sabah. You know what I'm saying? Yemen, Saudi Arabia. It's that, you know what I'm saying? It's a beginning. So when we were instructed in Arabic Fusa, it's easy for us to transform that in linguistically in the sounds into Mispatia, Lahaj. Because we understand glottal sounds, right? We understand the rolling of the R, re, re. We understand the R as a, ah. Another one I forgot to mention was the ge and the ga. Ge and ga. Don't force it. Some people go ga, 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 ga. No. Ge, ga, 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 ga. Ge, ga. You got the ha, ha, ha sound, but it's not ha, ha, ha from the throat. Because when you look at in the language, you don't have it distinguish between a glottal, not that I think of. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't see it. I don't think it's there. Let me see. Mm. Let me see. Miss Patia Lahaj. Here it is. I mean, you do have the ga and the ga, which is the throat, a regular ga and a ga. Let me share my screen. Let me see what else do we have. Again, we got the she, we got the sa and the sa, and the shesh, 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 shesh. Not sh, sh, not a throat. It's shesh. You know what I'm saying? You have the ta and the ta, and you have the fa, 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 fa. Not ha, ha. No. Don't force it. It's not like that. Do we have a khe? Yeah, we have a khe. So we have a khe, right? But then you have the ha, ha. And it is a throat to sound, believe it or not. ke and khe. But it doesn't have to be so dramatic. You know what I'm saying? It ke and khe, 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 ke and khe, khe. It's still scratching the throat, you know what I'm saying? But it's not so pronounced. You know what I'm saying? Pa and pa, pa and pa. So you have a lot of distinguishes where the sound is coming from that, and I do see that. Yes, I do. So I do stand corrected. You know. So in music, masak, 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 I play the dafuf, which is the drum, dafuf, and in the masak, we have again the difference between tone and key. The key of A is 7 tones with the 8th octave from the tonic. The tonic is always the first where you begin, the first tone, the tonic tone, right? And then the 7, and then the tonic again becomes your octave, 8 notes, octave, your 8th note, So we got to get to learn that. So if I say, Ashu, you know, it's Ashu, 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 Ashuk, Shuk, Ashuk. See? Ashuk, 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 Ashuk. You know what I'm saying? When we start speaking in different tones in that key. See? So it's going Ashuk, 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 Shuk, Ashuk, Shuk, 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 Shuk. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the harafa, those letters are giving tones. It's superimposed by certain tones. That's one of the projects that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be probably Ashuk, Ashuk. We can teach that to the baby in tonality. Ashuk, 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 Ashuk. Anukai, Anukai would be. I had it. Anukai, 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 Anuka, Anukai. See? Anukai, 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 Ashuk, Anukai, Ashuk, Pa, Paut. Uh, You get the picture. But anyway, that's important when we start. I'm going to do a class about that, so we can continue doing that because when you repeat it on and on and on in the class or something, people get it and it sticks to them. And then now it becomes second nature. Ashu, Ashu, Anukai, 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 Ashu, Anukai. That's speaking in tones. That's not monotone. If I was to say monotone, it would be Ashuk, 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 Anukai, Anukai, you know, Ashuk, Anukai, Ashuk, Anukai. You know what I'm saying? That's speaking different tone. We speak in tones. And again, it's music because we speak from the heart. It's heart. Our language is feeling in the heart. In the heart energy center is where music and dance, all of that manifests. That's the heart. That's the barrier, the balancing between ideas and concept and feelings and emotions. When that combines, then you got a different mind. You get it? Combine a different mind, the mind of the heart, the reservoir of in order ideas and feelings. Ideas and feelings become expressed in the heart energy center. So our language is heart. That's how I chant. I chant with the F sharp. Some people use F. I use an F sharp because I deal with again superimposing. Banana. See, that's how I deal with that. But actually, then see, so it's again understanding how tones are different between tones and key. The key of C, natural, all the white letters, right? If you minor that, then you're going to put two flats, which is that's a minor scale. You know what I'm saying? So we can use the minor scale, you can use the major scale. I use the major, but I kind of like half it because I use oh, so you can use that F, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a half step from that and there's a half step from the B C. So you can use the F. So I'll chant with the F. Uh, sure, sure. Sure, 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 You know what I'm saying? So it's just again practicing, messing around with with the voice, with your voice, learning this until it becomes second nature. It becomes second nature to you. You know what I'm saying? And then we're speaking now in tones. We're speaking now in certain keys and tones. And you can transpose those keys. You can transpose those keys into other tones and start a new tonic and then give that scale and create another different scale. And that's when you have the major scale, right? And you have the Dorian scale starts at the D. That's the D, Dorian scale. So it has like a minor in the beginning and it changes. So, so you what you do is you see that's a Dorian scale. You know what I'm saying? And that's different transposing things to a Dorian scale and those steps. You know what I'm saying? And that's taken into different steps. That's you see, and they did that in Arabic, Fusa. You know, in the and when they recited and chanted the Quran, and they see them transposed into different scales and different levels and step, man, that some of it was immaculate and beautiful. But again, it was, you know, our people that did that. Our people that did that. You know what I'm saying? Peace. Gabot, Gabot, Bando, Maricatu, in Taino, Maricatu, peace. Yeah, Floyd. And so it's important to learn music. If you have children, instruments, like I said, it deals with mathematics, you know, fractions, mathematics, and harmony of knowing how to harmonize. And also, when you deal with the rhythmic part, you're knowing now how logical can fraction fit in. You know what I'm saying? Like I always demonstrated to everybody how in Africans you can 6/8, you can play a 2/2, papa, 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 right? And add a 6/8 to that. See, I just added a 2/4 with a 6/8 and matched it up. You know what I'm saying? That it gave it in order and harmonized the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And then same thing with music, with the tones. You can harmonize it. If you take the C and I want to do a major triad, this is the scales of FAC that you read a lot in the doctrine, right? I drop that C down to, it's the same, but I just drop the C down to the middle C. I could drop the A, same thing. Those are the same chords, but they in what they call inverted. I just inverted each one of those chords, and that's what happened. We speak in the middle C, right? So again, it's knowing how to harmonize and create chords. So this is a regular, right? If I want to minor that, I'll just lower the middle one so it becomes, that's a diminished. You know what I'm saying? You could diminish it. You can give it a tonality, a feeling of, uh, uh. You know what I'm saying? They do use that a lot, even when you look at movies and I listen to the music a lot, and I know the suspense, dun, 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 you know what I'm saying? And I listen to the love. In the love, you usually get the about this. Na, na, oh baby, yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I'm saying? Make it loving with the chords, the feeling, because music is combining the ideas of those different tones with your feeling to give it a music. You know what I'm saying? And speech, communication, communication also at the core of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm already see if I can make it in the hour. But anyway, anybody have any questions? You're welcome to ask me any questions. Um, Again, I have to repeat and reiterate, hey, pick up an instrument, pick up a drum, get yourself some bongos or drums. I got those bongos there for a very good price. I think 160 something dollars. I got some bongos there. The LP performance series. Get yourself a drum. Learn and then learn music because you learn when you're dealing with the drums, you learn 2/4 signature, 4/4. Again, remember 4/4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3. You got the whole note. Like ah, ah, right? Half note. Ah, 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 ah. You know what I'm saying? Quarter note. Ah. You know, eighth note. You know what I'm saying? 16. Ah, 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 Learn this. It's mathematics. Teach it to your children. You know what I'm saying? We learn by tonality in music. At the same time, teach it to your children. Get an instrument, a bass. If you could deal with saxophone reed, I'm not too good at saxophone reed. I used to play flute, and I became first chair at the wind ensemble playing flute. I just don't play it often. If I gave me a flute and I practiced, well, I'll be able to because I already had the experience. And I was first chair at the concert wind ensemble in Evander Child High School. I was first chair. And that's how I won my scholarship. Well, I won my scholarship in timpani, dum, 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 and percussion, and I used to conduct because I knew how to read music. I knew how to a conductor chart has many music, and you have to cue in certain sections to come. So I was a pretty good conductor, And I even conducted in Orlando, Florida, orchestra, Spanish orchestra. I mean, I conduct, because I understood where, I could read the music, I understand where the music and where certain instruments where they have to come in. You know what I'm saying? But that's all dealing again with mathematics. But you could just learn, if you want to learn a bass or keyboard. Get yourself a keyboard. I bought this keyboard. How much? This keyboard was like about 60 something. Now this is a regular Casio that I got here. But I learned it. Yeah, I'm just messing around. You know what I'm saying? So I just learn the keys, and play certain things. I can't play nothing now because then I'll have to reach over. I just don't have it right now. But I practice. I practice. I learn certain chords because I want to get things. Most of the stuff you hear that I've done, for instance, um, I forgot the name of the old higher realm. That's me on keyboards. That's me doing the percussion. I could have added more. And the bass. I did the bass with this. I said just messing around, and it's therapeutic. Mess around, you learn it, and you tune your voice to it again, and then like I said, I'm putting something together where I'm telling you, I took the Harafat, the language, Lahaj, the Maspati, Lahaj, and I combined it with certain sounds, so what, and combined it, you know what I'm saying, as to give, you know what I'm saying. That's why I could say, sure, sure, and I started doing that, sure, and I have a song here that I can. Let me see if I can bring it up. Let me share it. It's in a very early stages, but I could probably play you something, a little bit of it. I'm sharing my screen here. Let me see if I can bring it up, y'all. Um, Let me see here in GarageBand. Get rid of that. Um, let's see. No, I'm just close this one out. Let me see. Let me see. This is the first time I'm doing this. Let's see if I can get it together here. Uh, Let me see. No, this is a higher realm that I recorded. The hollow. No. Ah, man, come on. Well, so let's see. Let's see if I can find it. If I can find it, man, because it's been a while since I've done this. It's been a while. Let me see if it's been a. Oh, I have. Changes. I don't know if you gotta get some feedback. You gotta get some feedback because it's what it's doing. I'm trying to find the song that I did, man. Damn, man, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh man. Let me see. Is it this one? No, it's not, definitely not that. Cancel that. Go back. No, my new project. Ah, my world. Check this one out. Let me see if it's this one. See. That's all I got to. Let's see if I can play that again and see if it displays. All right, see if it displays. And I use it with the tones. Anuki Jawe Pa Asha. You see if you're hearing it. Yes, no, no. Sorry about that. Ah, yeah. Sorry about that, yo. You're not gonna be able to hear it. Man, you're not gonna be able to hear it. See a way I can do it. I might have to download it and then maybe late at a time. I'll let you hear a little clip of it. But that's something that I've been working on. Very smooth, and is using the chants. I lined up the it's in tones, the chant, and it's smooth, man, smooth. Too bad you can't hear it, man. Too bad you can't hear it. But what I'll do is maybe tonight, what I'll do, I'll give you a little bit of a touch upon it. You know what I'm saying? It's a work in part. I hate to show my work that's halfway done. I still got to continue on. That's the reason why I have my keyboard all set up. But that's all. That's all that it was. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just waiting for the hour mark, but I don't have the hour mark going on. It's 6:11 right now. I don't like chanting around six. You know what I'm saying? But then again, somewhere out there in another time zone, it's 9 o'clock, and somewhere another time zone is 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So um, I won't do that now. Okay. But anyway, there is no question. You know, it's only very few people on here, but that's okay. Like I said, this is, I wanted to do this. This is my vein. This is where I come from. I'm a, s- I'm a scholar when it comes to because I received a scholarship to study, and I have a lot of time invested in speaking with Pat Nabayanoon and being there when he was singing and demonstrating his vocal ability. Awesome. I also used to hang out with Felipe Wynn from the Spinners. Great, great, great vocalist. Again, Ted Mills, Ray Goodman and Brown used to come on down. But Felipe, may rest in power, man, from the Spinners. Oh man, we used to sit down and have these conversations, man, and very, very, I miss him so dearly. His name Felipe when he used to hang out with us. He used to hang out with me in the fruit stand and saw, you know what I'm saying? And I was fortunate, you know what I'm saying, to have that. And Panabad, Yananin, Uncle, shout out to Marcelino Zimo, you know what I'm saying? I gotta call him, see how he's doing. But Marcelino, great voice. When he called the Adhan, it was such beauty. It was a rare occurrence when he did it. You know what I'm saying? Pat Nabayanan used to not let no, no. When Pat Nabayanan, when he led the Salat and he had Zemo doing the Adhan, oh man, the app was powerful. 'Cause remember, they vocalists. They knew how to take that language and project it with tonality. And that's a level also we have to get with the Sabic Mispatia. Is get to that level also. So study vocals, study your voice, learn your voice, apply that, learn the tonality, pick up an instrument, a guitar, keyboard, sit down and experimentation and do it. And you see how interesting it can be and how we can further our culture. We cultivate this nature that we have that it's a musical nature. It's a tone. It's a nature. When you go outside in natural nature and you hear all these birds. You used to hear all these. I used to do that a lot, man. I used to hear tones of birds, and especially when you go to the island of Borinquen, the Coqui. Oh man, the tones, and you're like, it's like an emergence of tone. And then when I used to look at the stars, it was like I was receiving tones from the stars. And to this day, it happens. I get uploads, but my uploads comes in tones. I had the woo. But I used to lie down as I saw in the bed, and when I used to lie down, and then all of a sudden it used to hit me. and I would astral projection. At first, I was scared. I was like, "Oh, here we go again." Woo, my mind, and then astral projection. That means you're dreaming. Everything is so clear. You're moving about. You're experiencing. And then when Padabayanan visits you in your astral projection, he visits you and he smiles, and then he takes you and he says, "Come on, woo!" And we're flying, bro. We're in you multi. It sounds a little spooky. It sounds a little spaced out. But yes, we were spaced out. We were spaced out. But that's another part of his personality and being in tones that knew how to resonate, again, echo, resonance, and bring your mind into this reality. Bring your mind into this tonality. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I used to get that a lot. Lot. And then there's studies right now, and then I know I ain't crazy, I ain't spooked, I ain't spaced, because there's studies right now using kinesology, using tones to heal muscles, masses of muscle, and affect your muscles, and your brain is a muscle. So, music affects your brain. That's why you have to watch the type of music you listen to and that you allow to be played in your household, because it can affect your mental. Just it could be an instrumental music, and you have to be very careful. I'm very careful also with the singing bowl. All these different gurus, they use the singing bowls. You know what I'm saying? That Tibetan thing, because that's a science, and you got to be very, very, very careful of that. You know what I'm saying? You can not only you can heal your body with tones, but at the same time, when you do heal the body, that means you're just activating certain consciousness within your body. Your diet has to be right. A lot of times it changes the diet. If you notice, a lot of people that are into singing bowl and they're into that whole crystal, their diet is different. Different. They tend to go into that holistic diet, that raw diet. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like about it. You know what I'm saying? But in Wu Sabat, yeah, in Wu Sabat we do use crystal, and Wu Sabat we could use the singing bowl for certain purposes, for healing purposes. When you heal the soul, your feelings, your emotions are settled with it's therapeutic. I've seen women sit down and ooh, and then I've sat down next to ooh, and there's a healing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they have this bowl by close to their yoni, their private part, and they're like ooh, and you feel the energy, like, whoa, sister, that's deep. It's a healing process, bro. Believe it. Yeah, some serious talk, bro. It's wonderful. So, but I'm careful though, because again, um, the stars also have different tonality. They're doing studies on that. That's why I don't understand when people say there is no sound in space. Well, there is a multi-space, right? The vacuum. It's just that the sound is in a vacuum. It's in silence, but it's moving. But if you're able to catch that movement and you're able to resonate at that level, you'll be able to hear those tones. They're there. It's called phonons. The phonons are there, and the protons and the phonons are there. You know what I'm saying? It's just caught up in a vacuum. And that vacuum it's like a silence. There's in silence, that's a tone. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to my brother Hunter today. That's certain musicians who don't know how to read the rest. The silence within the tones have a mathematical value. Because just like you have a quarter note, you also have a quarter rest. You have an eighth, 16 rest. You know what I'm saying? A, a whole note rest. All of this exists within music. So that has to be, you have to know how to play those, silence those rests within the music. You know what I'm saying? Very, very important. That's what makes the difference between a very school musician who knows how to play with the space. That's why shout out to Gary Williams when I play with him, because he always stressed that to a lot of the musicians. Don't overplay. Learn how to play with the rest. Learn how to play with space. Give the music space. So I try to, as much as possible, to give, even when I'm playing conga, find my space at the same time, very professionally, very tactful, learn how to place my sound within that space, not to overcrowd it, because then it become a mesh of sounds, and it becomes very funkadelic. Yes, funkadelic. It's freaking since the 60s. Nah, nine. Yes, they've been tracking the frequency since the 60s, even earlier than that. I mean, the 60s it really blew up down because that's when the mini moog came in, and those were physicists, sound physicists that came in and started to again deal with frequencies and created the mini moog. Man, there's a good on Netflix. There's a good program. I think David Foster. No, no, there's a there. I'm gonna see if I can find it and recommend it because it talks about these physicists and the mini moog, the synthesizers in the mini moog. They deal with frequency, sound, sine waves, and stuff like that. Very interesting. But again, um, James Brown was very conscious of the space. Don't overdo it. And it's on the one, what I'm saying? That he wanted to hear the bass and the kick on the one, right? He knew how to shift that timing around on the one and then create the space around it. I said his music was very spaceful. There was space. Funkadelic, the same thing with George Clinton. Jimi Hendrix knew how to take these vibrations and these different frequencies because he even created an instrument. Panabayan and totally created an instrument that he was a Riziki and created instruments that had these tonalities that were way out of here. Matter of fact, I recorded in Electric Lady Studio. Man, the equipment, and that was Jimi Hendrix studio. He made that studio. He engineered that studio and everything. And man, the frequencies. Matter of fact, Eddie Palmieri, Son of Latin Music, that album that won the first Grammy in Latin music, that's recorded in Electric Lady Studio. Because I remember when they were recording it, and I looked back, I wanted to get in, but I couldn't be able to get in. But that album that won the first Grammy, Latin Grammy, listen to it. Un día bonito, and just listen to it, and listen to the oh. And when I recorded with Bruce Sweden, crazy with the sonic boom. Bruce Sweden was the way he plays on my bongos because I did a song for him and I think they used it a Michael Bublé song, the bongos, and got paid good money. And he put the two microphone like that. He was able to capture the frequencies and the sonic boom. That's one thing he did with Michael Jackson. I held the Thrillers in my hand with Michael Jackson and the sonic booms, man. The frequencies that he was using, and he's been doing this from way back because I think he recorded with Dizzy Gillespie Manteca, and you listen to the old Shy Lights. He recorded the Shy Lights, and you listen to the room, the space in the room, the harmony. Oh, unbelievable, unbelievable! My greatest thing that is the flamingos. I only have eyes for you. The harmony and the space and the way that was recorded. That's engineering. That's my scholarship. You know what I'm saying? When I was studying, I wanted a scholarship to study music technology. I wanted to be an acoustical engineer. So I had to study a lot about that. You know what I'm saying? A lot. Yeah. And you know who also played out of key? Thelonious Monk. Thelonious Monk and Miles Davis. Thelonious Monk used to say, that wrong note is the right note. Thelonious Monk. And yeah, Funkadelic, that's the beginning of what they call polyharmonics. You know what I'm saying? It's playing out a key on purpose and the polyharmonic. So they understood that. They understood, the standard traditional key can be altered. We know how to bring the formless into form. And then we know how to bring that form back into formless. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, out of key. you know, Richie, in reality, there's nothing really out of key. It's just a specific alter key, a different key. It's an alteration of a particular key. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but the English would say out of key and this and that. And sometimes Beethoven, you listen to some stuff that Beethoven had wrote, where there's the signature, the key signatures were different. Very, very different. I mean, I listened to classical music and I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, sometimes they try to teach you to be so, and it's good sometimes to learn, music theory and all that, like this, that. But then there always comes a time where you have to expand that. Remember, expansion, Papa, expand those tones and those frequencies, and expand it, bring the form to formless. You know what I'm saying? Give it a formless, and then to bring it back into form. That's nature. We follow the process of natural nature, bringing the formless into form. Well, I always say the unseen to the seen, back to the unseen. And this particular process that goes on in our lives, you know what I'm saying, in natural nature. And this is you could transform that all into music expressions, you know what I'm saying? You know. And as far as our language is concerned, yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as speaking out of tone. Yeah, we all carry a certain tone. But in terms of traditional, classical, you know what I'm saying? There has to be an order. There is an order, there is a disorder, but there's always an order to things. Even in disorder, look at the word order inside of disorder. You know what I'm saying? So that's the sacred wisdom of the Huti. Fahuti. The sacred wisdom of the Huti talks about. You know what I'm saying? And then it's finding that balance, man. So you could swing the pendulum to this side, to this side, to that side. But the key is in the center, the now, the moment. A lot of music are performed for the moment. There's no recording. I love music like it's done for the moment. And you can have a great experience and listen to it. Great experience. It could be the greatest performance in history, but it wasn't recorded. You only experience it in the now. You know what I'm saying? So you have musicians that are like that. You know what I'm saying? I live for the now, for the moment. You know what I'm saying? I could play my music, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that Prince, Michael Jackson, had music that was for the moment that they didn't record. They couldn't record it because it was just for that moment. And then sometimes you have to revisit and try to capture what they call capture that moment. Man. But every musicians know when you play with a band, every musician know that it comes to a time when that moment, that special moment. It's like Michael Jordan when he steps into the court. That moment is a special moment in life. Same thing in music. Step on stage. That moment is a special moment. You can't you can't capture it. It's to be lived as that moment. You know what I'm saying? It's to be lived just for that moment. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So there's a lot of moments that in African music, there's a lot of moments that's been lived throughout eons and centuries and stuff like that. And times you want to revisit, you want to be able to squeeze that out, man. Man, if I could just capture that moment, squeeze it out from the multiverse because it's there. It's there. It's just caught up in the unseen. Now we're talking, we're talking, we're talking artistry. We're talking this philosophy. We're going to another tangent, and we're able to do that as a people. You know what I'm saying? As an artist, you know, as people of higher mind thinking, we're able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm here at the hour mark. I appreciate everyone that's here. It's Science Tuesday, so we spoke about um, music, the difference between tones, keys, and what are scales. And we saw that, you know what I'm saying? So watch out when they say chant in the tone of A, that's monotone, that's just A. But if chant in the key of A, now you got to take into consideration what's in the key of A. Is it the major key or the minor key? And what are the tones? Because each one of those artifacts, those letters are going to be given, superimposed a specific tone, a specific tone. You know what I'm saying? Like we know the ah sound is the F. Ah, 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 ah. The oo sound is the D, right? Ooh, ooh, ooh. The me sound is the G. Me, my, my, my. I. Each one of those has a tone to it. You know what I'm saying? And what key are you going to play? If you're going to do it in the key of A, not in the tone of, you could start with the tone of A, which is tonic, but the key of A was going to be different. Because the key of A doesn't have a regular C like a natural C. It has a sharp C. See? It has a see? And so the okay, so we the tonic would be equivalent to the C. You're starting at that, and now we're starting at the you know what I'm saying? It's I just gonna have to revisit that again. Uh, I have my notes there, just not right here at this moment. But again, learn an instrument, teach children, put them in a music class, make sure that they study an instrument, violin, a nice a keyboard, a bass, or even when they want to get down on the drums, so they can learn rhythm because it does something to you. It's mathematics. I tell you, I excel very much in mathematics, all the way up to trigonometry in high school. And then my music, because I understood the value of math, the logic, the mathematical, and then harmony. I understood melody and harmony, you know what I'm saying, and rhythm. I understood those components, and it was a life expression. It was a life expression to me. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. You know what I'm saying? So learn an instrument or just get a keyboard, a cheap keyboard, Casio, and sit down and mess around with it. And show your children you mess around with it. I'm sure they'll be interested. Oh, dad, let me try it. Ding, ding, ding. Mom, let me see. Ding, ding, ding. Let's start messing around with it. You know what I'm saying? Then next thing, oh, man, I want to study violin. I want to study. Okay. You have, or you could, if you have the money to give them an instructor, or you could find ways, a community program, you know what I'm saying? I want to start a program here on teaching drums. I used to do it a lot in Orlando, Florida. A lot of things I did in Orlando, Florida. I played with World Beat, Eyes Adventure. I also gave classes, you know what I'm saying? As students, I gave classes and taught percussion. Also gave classes in WAPI classes, you know what I'm saying? And was involved in a lot of things. I want to revisit that again. You know what I'm saying? I want to revisit. I want to probably do that here in North Carolina. Just got to make my rounds, you know what I'm saying? Do that. But right now, we can do that online. I want to do that for the African Kingdom Federation Academy, for the Academy. Right now, if you go onto that site, the African Kingdoms Federation.com, my blogs. I'm blogging now. I'm blog. I'm writing certain things that are very, very important. When you look at it, you're gonna be like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I'm just reiterating things, but I'm giving more involvement. And then anyway, peace and blessings. All in blessings to you. Okay? All in blessings. And I'll see you next week.